Good evening, everybody. I am Ali Saidy. I am studying Bachelor's in Pharmaceutical Sciences at Kurukshetra University. Thank you.
Ali, you're Ali Saidy.
Right, yes.
Yeah, but your name there is Lamaranaba.
Yes, I'm using this laptop.
Okay, that's fine. So now we have the participants from Delhi. You are not audible. Unmute your mic.
Good evening, good evening, everyone. My name is Ebrima Y.S Cham, studying at Delhi University, Sri Lanka College of Commerce, representing Delhi as a vibrant state. Thank you all.
Next.
Good evening, everybody. This is Omar Saine from the vibrant state of Delhi. I am studying at Delhi University. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, participants, for the introduction. So now the rules are pretty the same, just like yesterday. So for those of you who were not here, the rules are simple. Just to summarize it all, you have to be clear in your presentation, and then you have to make sure you are within the range of time. So I think you can time yourselves. The time allocated for each participant is 7.5 minutes, maximum 8 minutes per participant. So today, the topic for our discussion is: this house believes that coup is not the solution to Africa's leadership crisis. This house believes that coup is not the solution to Africa's leadership crisis. This house believes that coup is not the solution to Africa's leadership crisis. That's the topic. So for the motion is Delhi. Delhi is going, the vibrant state is going for the motion, and then Haryana is going against the motion. So I'll once again repeat the topic. This house believes that coup is not the solution to Africa's leadership problems. So, as convention dictates, we start with those that are for the motion, and that would be Delhi. So, you can please start.
Democracy cannot be achieved through coups. It requires commitment to democratic process. Nelson Mandela of South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed judges, respected opponents, my co-debaters, good evening to you all. I'm here today representing vibrant state of Delhi to talk about critical issue that does not only affect Africa, but the global community at large. As the Prime Minister of the debate, I would like to mention the motion which states that coup is not the solution to African leadership crisis. And then, Mr. Chair, before I will go further, just allow me to read the structure of my debate. And this is how the structure of my debate will look like. First, definition of the keywords in the topic, and then second, set the parameter for my debate, and then third, bring out points to back my arguments, and then fourth, I would like to summarize. Then after the summarization, I'll also like to conclude. Okay, so we start from the definition of keywords, Mr. Kia. We start from leadership. We said leadership is the process of providing guidance, support, sense of direction, motivation, and communication to the followers in such that all will be moving to achieve one goal, according to Oxford Dictionary. And we come to crisis. We said crisis, it is the event or situations that is characterized high level by urgency, threat, and danger. And then the main word in the debate, that is coup. According to ECOWAS and AU, coup is defined as unconstitutional change of governments in its protocols on democracy and good governance, acts a violent or non-violent action by military or civilian forces. Mr. Kia, now the parameter of my debate is that the effect of coups on economic development and peace. Now going to the points to back my argument, the first point is that democratic, the first point is that coup undermines the rule of democracy. It undermines the rule of law and democracy. Mr. Kia, as we have seen in many countries where coups happen, the rule of law and democracy have been drastically and dramatically undermined by replacing democratically elected government, by military regime. Mr. Kia, normally when coups happen, they are subject to what we call, they suspend the constitution. The first thing they do is to suspend the constitution, and we describe constitution as the supreme law of the land. So if the supreme law of the land is not respected, then therefore the rule of law is being compromised. And then secondly, Mr. Kia, violent overthrow of government. As we know, democracy, as we know, coup typically means to remove the government forcefully. Then this is not in accordance with the changing of government through elections. Mr. Kia, I would also like to give some examples of coups that undermines the rule of democracy and rule of law. I will start from my own country, Gambia. In 1994, the military coup ousted President Jawara. And then subsequently, the coup leaders, they suspended the constitution. They arrested respected individuals, detained innocent citizens, and thereby undermined the rule of law and democracy. And then second, Mr. Kia, we have also seen in Mali in August 2020, the military coup ousted President Ebrima Babu Keita, who had been democratically elected. The coup leaders suspended the constitution and dissolved the government, and they are also undermined the rule of democracy. And then Mr. Kia, we have also seen in Zimbabwe 2017, where Robert Mugabe was forceful to resign, and they are also undermined the rule of law and democracy. As well as in South Sudan in 2019, Mr. Kia, military coup in South Sudan removed President Omar al-Bashir from power while it leads to transition agreement. The initial coup undermined democratic process and then institutions. Mr. Kia, the second point that I said, coup is not the solution to African leadership crisis, is the economic instability. As you know, normally when coups happen, both investors, that is foreign investors and internal investors, they cut their investment because they no more have confidence in their investment securities. We said investment is only possible where there is peace and where there is stability. And normally when coups happen, how many businesses will be closed down? No commercial activities take place. So thereby, it will contribute to great loss of the economy. Mr. Kia, we have seen it in many African countries where coups happen. Example is in this place, in Zimbabwe. After the coup, Zimbabwe, reports have shown that Zimbabwe GDP continued to decline after the coup due to political instability, reaching a low point in 2019. And Mr. Chair, also, we have also seen in Mali after the coup, hyperinflation happened in Mali. All happens because of what? Because of uncertainty and disruptions. And Mr. Kia, from there, I will move to the third point. While I said coup is not the solution to African leadership crisis, the third one is conflict and human rights abuses. Mr. Kia, we understand that coups normally, comes with human rights abuses. Innocent citizens will be detained, will be arrested unlawfully. Mr. Kia, let's look at the arbitrary detentions. Normally, when coups happen, they will detain their political opponents. So in this case, those people, they don't have fair trial. Again, undermine the rule of law and democracy. And then the second one also, is that suppression of civil liberties. Normally, when coups happen, what they do is to ban, is to shoot down media outlets, put restrictions on freedom of speech, and so many other things. So again, undermines the rule of law and then democracy. Mr. Chair, I would also like to give some examples on that. Okay, we have seen in South Sudan in 2019, where military coup removed President Omar al-Bashir from power. The African Union and international community called for civil-led transition, and Sudan faced diplomatic isolation until transitional government was transformed. Mr. Kia, the last point that I also want to mention as a point to argue that democracy is not the solution to African leadership crisis, is what international isolation. Normally, Mr. Kia, when coups happen, international organizations, institutions, normally when coups happen, international organizations, institutions put sanctions on the nations that had coup. Mr. Kia, and we understand that African countries depend largely and heavily on international corporations, aids and trades, investment. So therefore, if any country happens to,
You have 30 seconds to go.
okay, then therefore, if any country happens to, have a coup, then they will be subject to international isolation. So I would also like to give some points on that. First, Mr. Kia, Sudan in 2019, military removed President Omar al-Bashir from power. The African Union and the international community called for civil-led transition, and Sudan faced diplomatic isolation until a transitional government was formed. And also,
Time is up. Time is up. Thank you very much. Amadou from Delhi. Thank you very much for those deliberations. Before I move to Haryana, I would like to commend the judges for the topic, because I think this topic is very, very much current, and then it's also very important. So I believe the debate is going to be very, very interesting today. And an observation also, if you are a participant, I don't want to see you in the comment session commenting. Just wait for the person making his deliberations to finish, and then when you are also making your deliberations, you can raise whatever you want to raise. So we move to Haryana. Haryana, who is starting?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, panel of judges, my worthy opponents, and everybody who created the time to tune in. I am Ali Saidy, representing Haryana. I would be talking against the point or motion which says that coup is not the solution to African problems. I disagree with that, and I disagree with it 110%. And my debate would go like this. The first thing that I would be doing is giving you the points why coups are not the solution to African problems. Then we believe in references, we believe in facts, not mere opinions. I have seen the honorable opponent mentioned in South Sudan. There is no coup has happened in South Sudan. And he also made a mention of hyperinflation in Mali. That was caused by sanctions on Mali because of ECOWAS, when it was clearly stipulated that in the United stipulations that no landlocked country should be sanctioned by closing their borders. So I would like to start by giving definition and context to certain words. Then I will put my points across. Then I would like you to give me the chance to conclude. I would start by defining leadership. Leadership is an action of leading people
Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Okay, we are not getting
Um,
him. I think it's network.
yeah,
No.
I guess he's having some network issues.
Okay, okay.
So can you hear us? Hello? Hello?
Can you suggest to him to put off the video? Okay, okay. I think he's off.
Okay. I think he's trying to reconnect again. Kumba, I think you're also from Haryana, right?
Yes, sir.
Can you please check on your fellow participant as to what's going on? Okay. Okay, I think he's back now. Unmute your mic.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had a problem in my connection.
Okay, you were having some technical issues.
Yeah, would you permit me
I
to
think
continue?
I think only Gambia has technical issues, or you people also
Okay.
have.
Yeah, we do also. So,
Okay, so I don't know what the judges would prefer, whether you should start again for them to get everything, or you should continue. I don't know.
Hello. I
Mm-hmm.
think he can start. Yeah, he can restart, please. Yeah.
Restart. Okay. Okay. So you can restart.
okay. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, panel of judges, my worthy opponents, and all those people who created time to tune in. My name is Ali Saidy, representing Haryana, and I am standing against the motion which says that Coup is not the solution to African problems. I totally disagree with that, and I believe Coup is the only solution to African problems. Uh, the way I would be arranging my debate is that I would be giving you, I would be opening the speech with the introductions by defining some terms and giving context to them, main points why I believe like to conclude. Okay. The honorable opponent made a mention of South Sudan. South Sudan, there is no, they didn't have any coup. It was Sudan in 2019. Bashir was the long-term ruler of Sudan. So I would like to correct that. He also made a mention of Mali, the hyperinflation in Mali. Mali, the reason for that was the ECOWAS sanctions on Mali. When it is stipulated by UN resolutions that a landlocked country is sanctioned by closing borders. So that was one of the main issues that brought in the hyperinflation. To define some of the terms of them and give some context to my main points. Leadership is an action of leading a group of people or an organization. It involves taking risks and challenging the status quo. Are our leaders challenging our status quo? It remains to be seen. The current state of affairs speaks for themselves. The next term that I would like to define is coup d'etat. It means stroke of a state or blow of a state. Who are the state? It was supposed to be the general populace. Why? Why is it that we are not having a say in our own governing? These leaders have turned our countries into dynasties or regimes. So, coup d'etat for me is not applicable, and I do not identify with coup d'etats because this is a French word. It was brought in by the French. They use these words for us. I rather prefer military intervention to coup d'etats. I do not identify with coup d'etat, and none of the Africans should. These are military interventions for me. That I would like to define and give context to democracy. Democracy, generally, using Abraham Lincoln's theory of the way he defined democracy is government of the people, meaning that it has people's interests at heart. Government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Do our leaders have our interests at heart? It is yet to be seen. Then, I would like to go straight into my points. The first point that I have is lack of democracy is one of the main reasons why coups are going on. Why lack of democracy? Because these leaders have turned our countries into their own agricultural farms, doing whatever they want with it. A research by the Pan-African Institute of Research Afrobarometer, it published a research that 56% of people across 36 countries in Africa believe that the electoral processes are not fair. They do not believe in their electoral commissions. Gabon is an example. 51% of the general population do not agree with the results of the election. Jinping, the opposition leader, lost just by 6,000 votes. Many, even international bodies didn't approve that result. It is there in the open to be seen. The other point that I would like to put across is corrupt politicians. A research by the same body that I made mention of, the Pan-African Institute of Research Afrobarometer. They did another research in which 70% of people believe that they have been bribed in Mali, in either, at least or somehow, they have been bribed during elections. The same figure goes for Senegal. Economic failures. Most of these sub-Saharan African countries are countries that are rich in uranium, gold. Mali, Guinea, Burkina Faso, 2 in 10 Burkinabes are displaced inside this wealthy country. Mismanagement, embezzlement of the political structure. That's the main problem of Africans. That's why African leadership, that's why coups are the only solution. I wouldn't even call it coup anymore. I would call it a military intervention. My next point is lack of law and order. A research was done by the African Center for Strategic Resolutions. It said that in 2015, they brought in, they made a survey. What they found is that over 13 countries in Africa have one way or another overseen or evaded the term limits restrictions. Example, Ivory Coast. Alassane Ouattara, firstly, he decided that he wouldn't be sitting. Then the sudden demise of the party's candidate, then he came up and said, although the general populace were not good with it, but yet still he did it by force. Omar al-Bashir, Alpha Conde, all those ones, all these points that I put across shows us that Africa can only go forward by using coups. Ibrahim Ouattara, when he came in, what did he do? Over 70 kilometers of roads have been built in Burkina Faso just within this short period of time. Nepotism is another problem of Africans. We can see Gabon, Ali Bongo. What did they found in his son's apartment? Everything speaks for itself. So, what I would like to conclude by saying that coups or military interventions, as I may say, are the only solution to African problems. Every African country must search her soul. And I believe we must search our soul through coups. We live by this, we die by this. Until the trajectory of African leaders change, we would change. We would support coups to the fullest. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much to the participant from Haryana. So now we move to Delhi.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, honorable speakers, my co-debaters, and respected opponents. I am Omar Saine, a representative of the vibrant state of Delhi. I am here today to discuss about a critical issue that does not only affect Africa, but the global community alike. Honorable Speaker, I will first start by defending the argument that are brought forward by the by Honorable Y.S Cham. Mr. Chairperson, we firmly believe that Coup is not the solution to Africa's leadership problem. The evidence is clear. Coup brings instability. It undermines rule of law. It leads to economic destruction, and it also leads to harm of civilians. Ladies and gentlemen, if this is how Coup is, then how can we build the prosperous Africa? It is never possible. Honorable Speaker, the points that are brought by my opponents, they are mannerless and baseless. According to the current UN Secretary, that is Antonio Guterres, he said that military governments are not the solution. They only aggravate problems and they cannot resolve a crisis. They just bring things or they just make things worse. Also, according to the former secretary of the UN, that is Kofi Annan, he said that coup leaders use brutality to maintain power and leading to corruption, which lead to human rights violation. Mr. Chairperson, if the compelling arguments that are brought here by my co-debater, Mr. Y.S Cham, if they are so clear that the opponent is coming here and telling us that coup is the solution, then I firmly believe that he do not even know the solution to Africa's leadership crisis. As a result, I am going to point out the three main reasons or the three main solutions to Africa's leadership crisis. The first solution that I have is we need to strengthen democratic institutions. Mr. Chairperson, encouraging transparency, Mr. Chairperson, building and strengthening democratic institutions, which include judiciaries, free and fair electoral systems, and accountable government agencies, is vital. These institutions ensure that leaders are held responsible for their power and power is distributed effectively. Let us examine Ghana. Ghana is an example of successful democratic institution building in Africa. The country has held multiple peaceful elections, which established a strong foundation of stable leadership transition. This is what we need rather than using coup, which is illegal and which leads to a lot of destruction. The other solutions that we can use to correct Africa's leadership crisis is we need to invest in education and awareness. Education and awareness campaign can empower citizens to make informed if this guy is a good leader or if this one is a bad or if he is a bad leader, and so that they will make the selection they will make the best selection, the rational selection for those who are competent to rule them and provide them with their basic needs in that country. This is what we need rather than the use of food. Mr. Chairperson, another solution to Africa's leadership problem is that free and independent media is crucial for holding leaders accountable and informing the public about government actions. Access to information is going to allow the citizens to make informed choices and participate actively in governance. Let me give an example. In the Gambia, we have some Gambia. They are making a good effort to ensuring that everything that the president or the government do, they are accountable for. They will post it. Know that what our governments or what our leaders are doing are not correct. And for that matter, this is the best way that we can use. So this is the best way that we can use rather than using coups and illegal means of passing. I would like to conclude by saying, I wish to make it very clear that despite the challenges we face in Africa, coup remains an acceptable means to address Africa's leadership crisis. We believe in a brighter and more promising future for this continent, one that rejects violence and instability. We remain steadfast in our belief that coups are not the answer. Let us work collaboratively to usher in an era of peace, stability, and prosperity in Africa, where leadership is defined by its dedication to welfare and progress of its people, and where the leader is built on democratic foundation that endure the test of time. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to conclude by asking these questions to my opponents. If coup is the solution to Africa's leadership crisis, then why is the Gambia battling with inflation? Then why is the Gambia battling with crisis? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. So we move to the other side. Haryana.
Okay, Mr. Chairperson, panel of judges, my co-debaters, audience, and everyone joining us from anywhere else. Good evening to you all. I am Kumba S. I'm representing Haryana State, and I am here against the motion that coup is not the solution to Africa's leadership crisis. First of all, there are certain reasons why coups are done, like they take place. And then some of these reasons are, Mr. Chair, you can agree with me that there is and have been leadership crisis in Africa since the continent emerged up to date. This is because we all know the type of leaders we have in Africa. They are immersed in the pool of corruption, nepotism, inefficiency, selfishness, and they lack sense of patriotism and touch. Our leaders that we have in Africa, they try by all means to stay in power. That means they overstay in power by amending the constitution to their advantage. Even with their inefficiency, they are not ready to give chances to all political elites to show what they can do. All this is because of their selfishness. Mr. Chair, you can see that our African leaders are really hungry for power. So in such cases, the only possible solution to our leadership crisis is through coup, because in Africa, elections are not done based on who is competent or not. Most of the times, especially in the Gambia, we vote for someone because we know them or for some other reasons. So coup is the only possible solution to that, so that we can so that we'll be able to do away with all these crises. Let's take a look at Mali, one of our neighboring countries. For over 10 years, Mr. Chair, the leadership of Mali could not solve armed conflicts and insurgent groups, even with the presence of French troops or French forces. This situation only improves after the recent coup in 2020 that was led by Colonel Assimi Goïta. Do you know that, my opponents, do you really know that Mali has over 1,000 gold mines, but unfortunately for them, they have no gold reserves in their country. This was improved by Assimi Goïta because he adopted a new mining code this year, 2023, in August. This mining code is mainly adopted, and it's there to preserve the interests of Malians. This milestone of security would not be possible without the coup. Burkina Faso is facing the same predicament as Mali also. But have you seen or had any threats, any security threats in that country of Burkina Faso since then up to now, since the coup took place? Not at all. Mr. Chairman, let's take a look at our own country, the Gambia. In 1994, a group of young army officers were led by Jammeh, and they staged a coup against the regime of Jawara, which was full of corruption and mismanagement. And Jawara's regime had no significance on the main sectors of the economy. That was the communication sector, the education, and the health sector. So Jammeh came up with a new constitution, and it was approved by voters in 1996. And that was a great improvement on his side in the first place. We can all agree that during Jammeh's regime, the health care and health facilities were made available to all the citizens of the country. And then the education system also improved, because during Jawara's regime, people will tell you that there has been very few high schools in the country. And now, during when Jammeh came into power, he was able to build so many schools that even those people of the country were given chances to choose from which schools we really want to go to. And that was a great improvement. We also had the university, which was also an achievement on the educational sector. Facts from UNESCO and MOP shows that in 1999, during Jammeh's regime, 14,779 females were enrolled in schooling. And then it increased in 2014 up to 44,426 schoolgirls were enrolled. And you will not tell me that this is not a great achievement, Mr. Y.S. Cham. So, Mr. Chair, another point is that one of the main reasons why coups are common in Africa is to become self-dependent and free from colonialism or colonial rules. We all know that from 1957 to 1960, most African countries were declared independent, but actually we are not really independent. And we all know that the reason I said we are not independent is that the impact of colonialism is still felt in Africa. Up to date, Africa is being exploited by the European powers. They use our natural resources the way they want it, and they impose laws on our governments. And this is the reason why now most Africans are mature enough to go for their own developments, and they really want to stand for themselves and develop Africa in their own ways. Mr. Chairman, you will agree with me that these developments are only possible with, by people with visions to effect changes. And Colonel Mamadou Doumbouya of Guinea states that he said to the UN General Assembly that Western model of democracy does not work for Africa, because we can stand on our own and they should stop treating us like children. And this was true, because Africans now, we have so many educated people that can stand for African continent. These coup leaders are the people who understand the challenges of the general citizens, because they lived and felt it as well. So they cannot depend on elections, because just like I said, the elections in the country are not based on competent people. So, Mr. Chair, I would like to conclude by saying that Africans have now realized that coups are the best ways to develop our continent, because we have been having so many elections, and we elect the people that we think they are better, but still now we have to get anything that we want.
30 seconds.
Okay. I would like to conclude by saying that these people, these colonial coup leaders, are usually of Pan-Africanist mindsets that wish to see Africa prosper to the higher heights. So I rest my case from here, and thank you all.
Thank you very much, Kumba. So now we move to the second part of the debate, which is the question and answer session. So once again, if you're asking a question, make sure it is direct, and then the opponents will be given 2 minutes to answer the question. So we start with Delhi to ask their question.
Yes, good evening once again. My conclusion question was, if Coup is really the solution to Africa's leadership crisis, then why is our own country Gambia still battling with high inflation, still battling with high unemployment, and still battling with leadership crisis? Thank you.
Okay, so Haryana, I hope you guys got the question. Haryana?
Good evening once again, Mr. Chairman. He asked the question that why is Gambia still? I couldn't get the question right. Can he come again, please, if he doesn't mind?
Okay, okay, let him repeat that. And make sure when they're asking a question, please be attentive and then write it down.
Yes, Mr. Lamarana, my question is, if you are arguing that Coup is really the solution to Africa's leadership crisis, then why is our own country Gambia still battling with leadership crisis? Thank you.
Thank you. The answer to that question is, did the guy forget that we are in a so-called democratic government right now, as compared to the military leadership? Kumba already gave out all the statistics regarding to the military leadership. Yeah, Jamba's government was the best government in the Gambia, where we have the highest rates of students. Possibly, me and you wouldn't be here today discussing or debating on this point if I thought it wasn't for Yajame. How many schools were here before he came in? How many? Our GDP. Just check the statistics. When it comes to our GDP, there was an increase of over 1.38% in our GDP compared to when he took over. Thank you.
Chair, yeah, you are muted. Sorry.
Oh, sorry for that. So we take the reverse now from Haryana to Delhi. Who will be asking the question on behalf of Haryana?
Yeah, I will be asking the question. On the reverse side, I would like to ask him what have so-called democratic governments done for the Gambia?
Okay, I guess the question was clear. Anyone from Delhi to answer that?
Okay. Good evening once again. Mr. Lamarana, your question was, what has, democracy done for our country? Mr. Lamarana, this question really made me surprised, dumbfounded, because it is very clear. In the Gambia right now, what do we have? We have freedom of speech. You are free to say anything that you want to say. Nobody will arrest you. But in those days, you even hide when you are talking. But now there is democracy. You said whatsoever you like. Nobody is denied to say whatsoever you want to say. And then the second one also is not about that. It's about, look at the people during Jambe's time. so many intellects run away. That is the effect of coups. But now look at our country. You have a lot of professors, all of them are around, they are feeding us. But during Jambe's time, everybody ran away. So you look at you see the importance of democracy. And then secondly, I will give example of Rwanda. Rwanda is a country, they have never gone through coup. But look at Rwanda right now. They are the first growing economy in Africa. So did they have any coup? No. So therefore, you cannot say that there is no democracy in our country. Yeah, we have freedom of speech. People are free to say whatever you want to say. So freedom of expression, freedom of movements, media outlets are everywhere. Nothing is hidden. So all that is because of democracy. But during Jambe's regime, Mr. Lamarana, even you, if you are supporting coup right now, you are in Jambe's regime. By now, you have been arrested. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So now we move to the judges to ask their questions. Judges?
Yes. Thank you for the presentations. That goes to both teams. So my question is, when it comes to leadership, can you give examples where leaders who came in through coup and leaders who came in through democratic election, can you give an example regarding the impact that they have in their countries? Like just two examples. Is the question clear?
The question is clear for both teams?
Yes. Let them just give me examples with some elaborations regarding both two.
Okay, examples and then elaborations. So now the question goes to Delhi. You have 2 minutes to answer.
Okay, Mr. Chair. This other one, the example is not far. No need to go into East Africa or South or Central. This one, you go straight to West Africa and no other country except our country, Gambia. The example is clear. During Jambe's regime, investors ran away. And even if you want to invest, you have to come to Jambi. And then again, now during Barrow's regime, we have a lot of investors in our country. We have a lot of companies in our country. So that shows that, coup leadership brings nothing to us except going back. That is it. And democracy is the only way for Africa. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello, Chair.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I want to draw your attention to something.
Okay.
I noticed when you asked the question, some of the audience members started posting answers. I don't think it's ethical and I don't think it's healthy, and we have to refrain from that. Maybe you don't notice it, but I'm calling your attention. And we urging all of them as they are listening and watching. Please, if anybody does that again, that group will be disqualified. Thank you.
Okay, so I hope it's clear. Huh? Those hiding behind the keyboards and then trying to help their participants, please do not comment anything that is related to the question being asked. Okay, so we move to Haryana. The same question is posted to Haryana.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to say that the first point I have is security. When Jammeh was in power, there was so much security in our country. Everyone can attest to that. We had security, and you could have do your things without any fear of being attacked or anything. And that was during Jammeh's regime. Unlike this regime that we have now under Adama Barrow, it's very different. Now you will even be in your own home, but you are still not secure. You have the fear of being attacked by thieves or everything else. And that was not really happening during Jammeh's regime. The other thing is, when Jammeh came to power, he improved the health, the education system within 2 years, because there were very few high schools during Jawara's regime. But when he came to power, there were many schools built, and education system was okay, because educational facilities were available to almost everyone. Even the son of the farmer in Saredemba of Baze was able to go to school. So that is what I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kumba from Haryana. So we move to the second judge to ask a question.
Yes. Okay. My question is, I don't know, something is echoing. I don't know. Okay. What are the consequences of coups in political stability and economic development in African nations? I repeat again, what are the consequences of coups on political stability and economic development in African nations? For the third time again, what are the consequences of coups on political stability and economic development in African nations? Thank you.
Thank you very much for that question. So this time around, the question is thrown to Haryana. Haryana, who is going to answer on your behalf?
Yes, sir. The consequences that I can state are that it can stabilize the nation, because we have had so many coups in Africa, but they were bloodless coups. And then these coup leaders are always in favor of the general citizens, because they understand the challenges that we face. So coups actually stabilize the nations of Africa. That is what I have.
Okay, thank you very much, Kumba. So the same question goes to Delhi.
Yes, good evening once again. The answer to this question is that one of the consequences of coup in African countries is that it brings political instability. Opposed to what this Kumba said, coup never bring political stability in any African country. Let us examine our own country, Gambia. When coup happened during Gambia's time in 1994, was there any political stability? No. There was no political stability, and this led to a lot of economic destruction. This also led to, many of abuses of human rights, and this also led to discourage of both inland and foreign investment. So there is completely political instability in food. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that answer. So we move to the third judge to ask a question.
Okay, good evening. My question is it justifiable to overthrow a government through a coup to address leadership crisis? Is it justifiable to overthrow a government through a coup to address leadership crisis? Let me come for the third time. Is it justifiable to overthrow a government through a coup to address leadership crisis? Thank you.
Thank you very much for that correction. So this time it goes to Delhi first. Delhi?
No. The answer to the question is no. It is not justifiable to use as a coup, to combat African leadership crisis. The answer is no. This is because normally when coups happen, the consequences are higher. Once we have detained, they will detain innocent citizens, they will arrest innocent citizens. And then the funniest part of it is that normally when you do a coup, your fellow soldiers also will launch a coup against you. We have seen it in Burkina Faso, where two coups happen within 9 months. So that shows that coups cannot be justified, cannot be used as a solution to African leadership crisis. And then, thank you.
Thank you very much. So we move to Haryana, Team Haryana. Your mic is muted.
Okay, sorry. Good evening once again. I believe that coups are justifiable when there are no options available and the general populace are suffering and they can't do anything about it. The only option is for the military, as in the case of Ivory Coast, when the term limit was restricted in Guinea Conakry, the term limit was restricted. Cameroon and others. Equatorial Guinea leaders are there for 4 decades. Gabon. Is that a dynasty or is it a democratically elected government? Elections are always rigged in Africa. The general populace do not believe in the elections. Heroes who first say, let me quote this. Get the America, turn out the barracks, hit the radio stations, the post office and the airport, arrest the passing of the president and arrest the state. In this state are the so when we go to elections, that get them because the elections are
Ali, Ali, Ali,
Ali, your network is not good.
Ali, your network is karab ho gaya. Can you fix it?
what's happening to the network?
May I suggest he goes off video, Mr. Chair? Maybe the network will be clear.
Am I audible?
Yeah, okay. Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes. So you can start. You can start the entire answer you were deliberating on.
I mean that I believe that coups are the only solution to African problems and they can be justified. They can be justified. For example, now, if you cannot oust a democratically elected government through the ballot boxes, how will you do it? How? We can't. There's no way. They are working hand in glove with the electoral commissions. The statistics are there to show for it. The people do not believe in the in the electoral commissions. They are not independent. What can we do? The military are there to protect us. So they feel the need to come in. They can come in and it can be justifiable. Ivory Coast and Guinea Conakry are two examples. The term limits were restricted. So what can they do? The term limit is restricted. You cannot win through the ballot box. What is the solution? Let me quote Helois Rufus, a South African anti-apartheid activist. C1 said, get the keys to the armory, turn out the barracks, take the radio station, the post office, and the airport. Arrest the person of the president and arrest the state. The state meaning the government, because we are no more part of those governments in which we cannot oust them democratically. So I would like to say that military coups can be justified. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that answer. So now I believe we've come to the end of the debate. So I would just like the judges to tell us how much time they'll be needing to compile the results.
Chair, Mr. Chair.
Mhm.
Okay, I would like to suggest we want to see if we can have a break for prayers for some of us and others who may want to pray. We have a 30 minutes break so that we can pray and then use the opportunity to collect the results and then get back by 7:15. Thank you.
Okay, okay, that's fine. So um, for those in India, you can have your prayer break. I know people like Fonsu can't wait to go and pray. Yeah, so you can have your prayer break, but for us, it's not yet prayer time, so I'll be online.
The chairman, the debate is finished.
Yeah, they are going for a prayer break, so they'll be
Yeah,
back.
yeah, yeah. This is why
Yeah,
I even
after
disconnected.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes,
I think it's
they'll be
important
back
to at least get some time to pray and come back.
and come back. Yes, yes. That is what I said. Now I said I know people like you cannot wait.
If mentors are praying, everyone should go and pray.
Or is it that
Yeah.
Fansu wants to lead us to prayers? We can also wait. You lead us to prayers.
Country is not going to pray, ma'am.
Adama,
Country
xam
is
naa
not
yow su ma
going anywhere.
yow su ma nekkee rek dag ma ne nekk di xama rek xam nga Adama su ma xarit nga de xarit lañ de.
Job rek naka job rek
Why
loolu moo tax
sëriñ foog mu
suma
lekka
xale
di
yi door la démba
ko sëriñ
Adama léegi
foog mu
dañ
lekka de.
tuub Nyanchos then too. So if Nyanchos are going to pray, everyone should go and pray. This is what I'm saying.
okay we are going to pray
Maru wax ko gaay de.
Oh,
Mr. Chair, I will
Nako
report funds to you.
you will report me?
Yes.
Hello, good evening. Can we continue or should we wait for some time?
Chairman, in the meantime, I would suggest you engage them. We are trying to finalize because, we are not only dealing with today's results. We have to make sure we get the best loser and come up with those things. That's why we are trying to call it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. So just like we did yesterday, the floor is open for observations or comments. So if you have anything you want to add or something you want to say, you can just raise your hands and then I'll give you the floor. So you have a public holiday tomorrow. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. So I would like to ask a question. I don't know. It's open. Anybody can answer. Like, who can tell me their the best experience so far they have had in India? It's open. You can just raise your hands. If you want to tell us about the best experience so far that you've had in India, you can just raise your hands, then I'll give you the floor. Yeah, I hope you people are not eating dinner because everybody is quiet. So, who can tell me the best experience so far they've had in India? Let's say the best and the worst. Yeah, you can tell us about the best and also tell us about your worst experience you had there in India. Okay, Mahmoud Fati.
Thank you, Mr. BI. It's a general question. I believe um, there are a lot of best experiences that I have since coming here in 2021. Um, in particular amongst these experiences, the ethics. Indians have work ethics. Anywhere you go in terms of the administration, they are very strict and very much pragmatic when it comes to their work. So that is one of the best experience I have with them. I believe is something that I've learned outside the classroom, the work ethics and the respect for authority and seniority. If someone is senior to you in the workplace, they literally worship that person, and that helps them in the dispensation of their duties. Unlike the Gambia, where at some point they undermine their immediate boss, their immediate supervisors, and all that. So that affect the performance, work performance. So I think it's one of the best experience that I have. And the worst experience is obviously sometimes the hygiene is not up to standard. You look at their hygiene, sometimes they sleep including very close associate of ours. It's not par. So that's one of the worst experience. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mamadou. I saw Adama's hand up. Adama Ba. Adama. Okay, I think she's not getting us. Okay, so the question is still there. If you can tell us the best and the worst experience you've had so far in India, you can just put your hands up. Well, for me, best experience would be there are so many actually, but I don't even know where to start from. Abdullah Njai. Thank you very much, Abdullah. Adama. Then we have Fansu. Adama, dinana lakal pulde. Ah. Okay, Fansu.
Yeah, Mr. Moderator, the best experience so far I had in India was when I was being surprised with a birthday cake when I was being surprised with a birthday cake from my department. Yeah, it was on the 24th. That was my birthday, so my department tapped this date. So it's
Chair,
like
whenever
early
you
in
are
the
ready,
morning.
we are set.
Yeah, so it's like that
Okay.
was the best day. That was my best experience in India because I have never been celebrating my birthday since in the Gambia. But Indians celebrated my birthday, my college, my mentor, and then the principal. So that was a very wonderful day for me, a day that I can always remember. Thank you.
So you did not tell them it was haram as a share.
No, I did not tell them it was haram because according to their culture, is normal to celebrate a birthday. But with regards to my dean, I know it's undone, but I did not tell them that. I was just happy.
You just
Yeah,
accepted it.
yeah, I just accepted. Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice. So Adama,
Yes,
you
am I
say you were
audible now?
having network. Yeah.
Oh, okay. What I was saying is my best experience in India will be how do I call it, the interaction that I have with people, being it GAM in, being it international student from different world. I get to learn a lot of things, especially with GAM in. GAM in, one thing I learned with them is it build my patience. You have to have patience when you are dealing with people. So that is one of my experience that I have enjoyed in India. And the culture in India, the culture, they value their culture so much. So I think those are things that we need to embrace as a country. So my worst experience will be when I arrived in in India. I had a dengue fever and I was admitted in the hospital. All I wanted was to go
Yeah.
back to the Gambia. So
Dengue. Yung nga ba
dengue, yeah.
malaria thing? Nga rin flu, di am dengue.
Honestly, like it was just crazy. I called one of my friends. I said to him, I woke up in the morning. I was just feeling dizzy, and I just don't understand. I called Isa. I told her, can you bring the cream? That is the frotte. Before Isa came to my house, I think I was already in the hospital. So I don't even know how it happened. So
Yes, true.
it's yeah, that
Ah,
was
that
my
is it.
one.
Oh. You were running away from mosquitoes here. But the ones they have there, those ones are serious thing.
Chair, I'm ready. I'm ready. If you are ready, please.
Okay, sure. You can go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum to everyone once again, Mr. Chair. I'm speaking on behalf of the panel of judges here. And first of all, we want to seize the opportunity to thank you very much and thank, of course, the Seventh Executive Council, the entire membership of GAM IND for staging this very important event. And just to further reiterate that, as I said earlier yesterday, that this is not seen as a competition, but as people coming from the same country, sharing the same heritage. That is the essence of it. And let us try as much as we can to inculcate discipline in whatever we do, which is very important because all eyes are on us over here. And let us support each other and have respect for each other. It's very important. So what I just want to say briefly is we are now going to announce the results for today's contest, and then we have the best losers as well, whose percentages will be reiterated. And then because for today, we will have a winner, which is going to add on to the two yesterday. And of course, we will need to have a best loser, and that best loser will join those three. And as you were waiting, the ballot has already been done. At least we have one of our members who is also around, who is not a judge. We had to invite him for purpose of transparency and make it as neutral as possible. That has been done. And then I'll read them out. Okay, now to start. Haryana scored 86% in today's contest. Delhi scored 74%. So for today's contest, Haryana has emerged as the winner. Now coming to the best losers. If you could recall yesterday, Bhopal got 65%, Andhra Pradesh got 77%, and of course, Delhi scored 74% today. Now, looking at those three, Andhra Pradesh emerged as the best loser with 77%. So Andhra Pradesh would have to join these three that we have earlier mentioned. So now we have four of them heading for the semi-finals. So in terms of the balloting, Haryana will now face Andhra Pradesh for the semi-finals. Then we have Gujarat and Maharashtra will also meet for the semi-finals. On that note, once again, on behalf of the panel of judges, we want to thank you very much for your trust and confidence that you have already entrusted in us. Thank you very much. And the results will be shared, of course, with the executive. And the topics also will also be shared for the semi-finals as well. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chair, for reading out the results. Okay, so now I believe we've come to the end of the session, but I see Fansu's hands up. Fansu? Okay. Okay, so over to the judges. So as to what is there any date for the next competition, that is the semifinals?
Yes, these dates have been sent to the executive. On Friday will be the semi-final. The semi-final will be on Friday, and then the final will be on Sunday, next Sunday.
Okay,
so that is yes. Let me give you the actual dates.
Okay.
The semi-final will be on the 29th of September 2023. So the time we will change the time a little bit, because the first schedule was we will want to start by 7, but probably we will start a little bit earlier. So the time will be communicated, and then the final will be on the 1st of October.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Baji. Yeah, I'm not sure whether you are using the Mandinka word 7 final or
Yes. I was using the
it's
Mandinka word. This is why I
7
rectified.
final.
No, it's not 7 final. It's semi-final.
Yeah, that is what my body bunkers usually say, 7 final.
Yes.
So thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much for that update. So I think we've come towards the end. Adama, is there anything you want to say?
No, I would just like to thank you, the judges, for the job well done. I just want to remind the participant that there is no losing. Just because you do not win today does not mean you are not a winner. You can win tomorrow. It's just a matter of pushing it up, pushing hard and harder, so that tomorrow you can always be there. So I thank all of you for the time that you have given for this debate, especially for the PhD student that is that are engaged on studies, assignment, and other things, and Mr. BI who have also a time difference between India and Gambia. So I want to thank all of you. I want to also thank all the participants for participating and all the supporters, especially my state, Delhi people. I thank you all, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Adama. I think also you need to create a specific certificate for the best fan of the day, and I think I'm like from the comments, the best fan would be that Modulamin. Is it Modulamin Jeng?
How about Tomo?
Yes, because okay, Tombong was for yesterday, but Jeng is today, because since the start he's just been disturbing the participants.
And don't forget the Imam. Chairman, don't forget the Imam.
The Imam accepted a birthday cake, so I think he will need to visit the council again, you know.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he'll need to visit the council again.
Okay, thank you.
So on that note, I would like to thank you all.
Yeah, thank you,
from my
Chair.
side.
Chair, we thank you too.
Yes.
We thank you too, Chair.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So we hope to see you again on Friday.
All right. See you on Friday, inshallah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.